it's the cheapest Xiaomi phone. How did that even happen? And to kick Xiaomi's teeth even more, Samsung has upgraded the storage from eNMC to UFS 2.2. And again, I'm not even going to pretend to know what that is, but someone on Reddit said that they've discovered that it's not worth buying phones with eNMC memory in 2025. It's a scam that they continue to sell phones with eMMC. In practice, it's like switching from a hard drive to a SATA SSD. It was like going from night to day. So I guess that's a big W for Samsung, which makes me really curious about the gaming performance. So let's see if the cheapest Samsung phone can handle some gaming. And I'm going to try and COD Mobile because I don't know any other games and this looks pretty intensive. Also, I'm using a cable so that it doesn't ruin the performance. And this phone doesn't even have a screen recorder, so that's amazing. What's up with that? Straight away, this looks very smooth. I don't know how they optimize this so well, but I mean, it's just training. Okay, let's try an actual multiplayer game to see if this is even playable. Graphics quality is set to medium. I wonder if I can change that. The settings can go from low and medium, and then the frame rate max. I want to try max frame rate. I don't feel like anything has changed, but I mean, it still feels like I'm getting 60 FPS. I don't know if you can possibly enjoy a shooter game on such a small screen with, it's not even a controller, it's touch screen, so it's like, you have no accuracy in this game. Also, this is like auto shoot. It's not even auto aim, it's auto shoot, so I basically just have to look at the enemy and take a shot. But you know what, if you're into these type of games, I suppose you could play on this phone. The devs optimize these games so well to the point where even the cheapest phone can run this. It's crazy. Now, if you haven't noticed, this phone has a screen that you can look at, and although it's not an AMOLED, they have somehow put 90 Hz on this, which on paper is absolutely crazy. And now, the absolute bottom of the barrel NPC phones have 90 Hz, and somehow the iPhone 16e doesn't? What a clown phone. If I had to nitpick, the screen isn't completely perfect. Like, it has quite a bunch of ghosting, which you probably can't tell on screen. And you can tell that it's 720p, but if I get 90 Hz, I'll take it. And speaking of not perfect, this phone has to fall apart somewhere, right? Samsung advertised these cameras to be 50 megapixel dual pro grade, delivering rich colors and fine detail. Okay, buddy. Interesting choice of words. Now, before I get completely grilled in the comments for clowning a budget phone and comparing it to an ultra phone, I'm not going to do that today. I'm just going to enjoy what I have. I don't know why I picked the wettest, saddest, and muddiest place to test this, but why not? Although this phone is not for professionals, it still has the IP54 rating, which should be enough to protect this phone from the splashes from the rain. Okay. Okay, the phone is glitching. Okay, let's open the camera. I did look pretty wet. So even though the phone has plenty of light, there's a bit of motion blur. I don't know if you can see that. Let's just take this picture. Damn, okay, it is very overprocessed. There's a bunch of sharpening going on. I am very interested to see the 50 megapixel one. So the first picture, you can see like there's detail in the bricks, but then in the 50 megapixel, the detail gets white. Wait a second. There is literally no additional detail with 50 megapixel. This is a scam. Oh, what is this? Go back. Oh, the rain is really messing up. I missed the wet touch technology that you get on Xiaomi. If we just pretend that this is a PDF file for a second, the detail is fine. It would get the job done, I guess. Now, if I did have to make a small nitpick, I wish this phone had OIS, because when you do take these PDF shots, like, the phone shakes so easily. So then if I go to even slightly low light scenarios, the phone shakes quite a bit, and look what happens if I take the photo. Oh, that actually looks kind of decent. Okay. But in video mode, 1080p with no stabilization. Yikes. I am glad that there's no ultra-wide camera, because it would have been useless anyway, and the urge to make fun of it would have been immeasurable. I did say I'm not going to show you any comparison, but just one, please. Look at this. And I guess while I'm wet, I might as well show you the face unlock. So it actually works kind of well. Like, press this button, it scans my face. Sometimes it gets confused, but like a lot of the time, it just takes like a second or two and it works, which is much better than this fingerprint scanner. This thing sucks. It's just unreliable. And what is reliable and what kind of blew me away is that last year, Samsung gave us 2 years of software support, which is not surprising for such a new phone. But this year, you get 6 years of software support, not just security, but actual OS updates. Now, I don't know how this phone is even supposed to survive 6 years, but if it does, you can give this to your grandma, and this will probably last her the entire life until she has to go on a long vacation. It's just that if you go used, there's so many better options. For example, if you go to eBay for almost the same price, you could probably find a Galaxy S10, literally one right here, S10 Plus, £80, or even this one, 70. You could even get a OnePlus 8 Pro, look, 63, 84, and this would be much better. I know it's not the same thing. It would have no warranty, it would have no software support, but if you just put like a custom ROM on it, this would be much better than buying the cheapest brand new phone. But if you don't have a choice and you have to buy a phone brand new, just to scan a PDF file or just to call your grandma, which doesn't have much time left, this might be a decent phone for once. It's actually not completely useless. Samsung has made so many improvements on this that you could actually call this a phone.
Myself being a big fan of the original HyperX Cloud Flights, and especially the Cloud Flight S's with that QI charge it and then a control on the side of the ear, I absolutely loved those headsets back in the day. So I was very excited to test out the new HyperX Cloud Flight 2 wireless. So in this video, we're going to see if the Flight 2s live up to the HyperX Flight name, and of course, the main thing is, are they going to live up to my excitement and love for the HyperX Flight? But number one, as far as what you get in your box, of course, you're going to get your headset right here. It also comes in a white variation as well. You get your detachable microphone. This thing is jumbo. We're going to do that microphone test later on in the video. Get this C-to-C charging cable. You can get this nice little adapter here, USB-A to C, HyperX logo on it. I say every company should start including these because, as you see here, your dongle is USB-C, which I absolutely love, and it's not the wide ones like we see over here on the SteelSeries, for example. As you can see, Snug's got a hold of this dongle. But anyways, once you put this into your PC or PlayStation, it's going to hog up other ports. I love these small dongles right here. So again, you can still access your other ports, and then again, including the adapter. Just well done right here. By the way, this little adapter is nice. It's like soft rubber, so I don't know, just nice little touches. And first off, as you all know, we have to kick it off with comfort. And as you're seeing right here, you do have swivel. It's not full swivel all the way flat this way, but you can go flat this way, and it goes a little bit forward. So as far as comfort, perfectly fine. You put them on your chest, you fold them down like that, perfectly fine right there. They're going to conform to any head shape. That's why I always say any headset should have swivel, because you don't want those ones sitting straight, kind of like the HyperX Cloud, because then you start with the pressure point up here or in the back and in your head shape. Different person to person. Again, I love seeing swivel. As far as your adjustable arms right here, you can see they are metal reinforced, which we talked about in the build. But again, that is your adjustment on the side. You got those little tactile steps in there, and I never got any accidental movement whenever I was using them. They always held the position really nice. And then, of course, your ear cups go in and out. And then if you want to change your ear pads, you can change these as well. As you see, the drivers are angled in this, so I never caught my ears touching or getting pinched on the drivers. Ear pads are super big. Let me get a ruler and measurements for you. Okay, so I ended up packing up all my other gear, but luckily I was able to find a good old wooden whooping ruler here, right? So anyways, looking at these pads, you can see they're right at 4 1/4, just about right there. But if you look at the insert right there, it's almost 3 1/4. And then as far as the width over here, pretty much 2 1/4. Plenty of depth as well. So again, these ear pads are nice and big. And by the way, if you saw the video of my new Wicked cushions that came out, these are the universal ones that I have on the Nova 7s. And I did try to fit these onto the HyperX here. But these ear pads, or the insert right here, these drivers being 50mm drivers, I could not get the universal pads to fit on me. These are significantly bigger. So again, if you plan on swapping your pads out, just make sure you get something that will actually fit them, because these drivers and this little the ear right here, the little ear pad, is significantly big. Now, as far as these, as you see, they are pleather on the outside and on the inside, which definitely helps out with the sound and isolation and stuff. And you know, this is a different kind of pleather that we've seen from other headsets. Yeah, your ears will get spicy in them, but they're very comfortable, very plush, and And as far as the headband, you can see it's just this little bit of top here. It is leather and it is super plush going side to side. And usually I'd have an issue with the headband being small just at the top right there, but no problem right here. I'm super comfortable for sure. Again, I never caught myself saying, oh, the ear pads are bad, oh, the headband is bad. It was just very comfortable with all of my use. And as we roll into the build quality of this headset, let's first take a look at the weight. The headset alone is coming in right at 343.7, so let's call it 343 grams. That is without the microphone. If we put the microphone on here, we're coming in at 354 grams. So let's go and take a closer look at the build quality of this headset. As it's a little bit hit and miss, a little mixed bag, right? And you can notice this entire headset is fully plastic, minus this metal reinforced headband, which is honestly just cosmetic because you go into the plastic up here, go into this little plastic piece right down here, which holds on to that metal reinforced headband, then your forks and its connection towards our plastic. The plastic feels incredibly robust, especially down here in the forks. I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but right here, yeah, it's definitely not picking up. But anyways, the forks right down here are like reinforced and like super thick. I can't flex them or anything. It feels very premium. But where that starts falling off is up here on the headband. So if I do my stress test, now first thing you notice is the headband popped out. And it's meant to do that. So you take it out, clean it, maybe swap it out, and it goes in there and clicks in. This is meant to happen. A lot of headsets are kind of glued in there, and whenever they pop out, you can't get them back in. This one, you just put it in there like that, snap it back in, you're good to go. Now, underneath that headband, you can see that's where the wires are routing from ear cup to ear cup from the drivers right there. But the thing I really want to show you is, again, you all know I do my stress test and I twist them up and everything right here, right? And I hope the camera can pick this up, but I doubt it will. Right there, there you go. You see that white mark right up here? It's also on the other side, right over here if the camera can pick it up. And what's happening is that plastic is starting to give way. And of course, you're not going to be here. I don't even want to go any further. I know this will break if I go any further. But as I stretch it, that white mark just gets bigger and bigger right there. So you're not going to be doing this. But over time, you will constantly put the headset on and take it off. And that's where something like that is going to show. And that is why I do this test, stretching it out, right? To show you where those weak points are. I'd rather my headset break than you buy it and find out, man, this thing isn't built that good. Now let's take a quick look at the features and functions here, and then we'll roll right into that microphone test. And as I already showed you, the dongle is USB-C, which I absolutely love. So again, it's the smaller ones, not these big ones like we've seen from SteelSeries. As Snug's got a hold of my dog, got a hold of this dongle here. But anyways, I love how it's USB-C. So again, it doesn't take up much room, but you also have that adapter if you need a game. But anyways, as far as on the headset, up here you have the microphone mute. It's the actual button where you get a voice prompt in the headset, not those dang spring ones. I personally do not like those springy microphone mute buttons. I like this. Down here is your power button, the USB-C port for charging, and then over here is your microphone port. Now, as far as battery life, you get up to 100 hours running 2.4 with this headset with the RGB off. And you get up to 150 running via Bluetooth, which I'll talk about in a second. Up here is your shortcut button as far as like play, skip track, something like that, you know, pause and whatnot. And then over here you have your volume wheel, nice and rubber coated, continuously rolling up with tactile steps and continuously rolling down with tactile steps as well. Now getting down to that Bluetooth, you see right down here, you have 2.4 and Bluetooth. But you cannot use both at the same time. So it's not simultaneous, but the worst part about it is even if you're in 2.4, you can't get phone calls. It's seriously either 2.4 or Bluetooth. You cannot take advantage of both of them at the same time, which is a real big stinker. Now you do have swappable ear cups as well, and that's where your RGB is shining through. So let me go on fire on the headset real quick here. We'll hold the power button down, bam, and it's going to turn on. And you can see that RGB is right over there, probably a little washed out with my lights. Now a cool thing you can do actually is press the power button and then the shortcut button over here. So we'll go 1, 2, and it should turn off. Yeah, it turns off the RGB, which is primarily how I used it anyways. It's like, I'm not going to waste, you know, so much battery. I think it drops down to like 20 something if you run the RGB on right here. So I just don't think it's worth it. I just kept it off. Now another cool thing you can do is hold down the microphone mute button here. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear it, but whenever you hold it down, it'll actually turn on mic monitoring in the headset as far as the microphone. Hold it again, and then it will turn it off. So pretty cool that you got the functions and features and kind of shortcuts on it, but man, that 2.4 Bluetooth is a real bummer. Now for the microphone test on the HyperX Flight Cloud 2s. What you're hearing is just a straight up raw microphone test. I'm going back to do my microphone tests on my MacBook here. I used to do microphone tests on the PC, which is the way a lot of us do, but one thing I noticed is that even though I never tweaked the sound or adjust or anything, there's so many different programs running in the background, the Atmos, this, that, and the other, and I always close them down, but I feel like I was, sometimes, oh shoot, I had that open with this. I feel like plugging it right into my Mac is just a little bit raw and real to just straight up plug it in and press record here. You should do the Windows sound or regular voice memos. Anyways, so again, this is the raw microphone. I am in my new house. We've moved. I don't really got my setup done yet, but I do have a little bit of sound dampening. I got bare walls over there, and I got some sound dampening going around us here. So a little bit different than the previous setup, but still, this is pretty much a raw game room. I don't have a crazy studio setup. The air is chugging, my return tanks right over there, so again, you're hearing pretty much a raw setup here, microphone, a little bit of sound dampening. And as far as this microphone, again, nothing tweaked, nothing adjusted right here. This is the raw microphone of the Flight 2s. Hopefully, this is a little bit better. And the sound of the HyperX Flight 2s packing the 50mm drivers that I think a lot of us are used to, like with the traditional clouds or the cloud wireless and stuff, you get that nice detail from this headset, just like we're all used to. I mean, almost sometimes too much detail. Now, I'm playing a lot of Battlefield, and then when I'm on PlayStation, I'm playing The Last of Us 2 Remastered. We're focusing on Battlefield here, and it really depends on which kind of game you're playing, right? So when I say too much detail, Battlefield's a pretty chaotic game, just like Call of Duty. Like, I mean, you got tons of people running around you all the time, grenades, launches, this, that, and the other happening, right? So focusing on footsteps, what I want to talk about when I say too much detail is like I'll hear some footsteps and like I clear as day hear them, like they are there, right? But I can't pinpoint them. Like, okay, are they behind me or beside me or what's going on? You know what I mean? And that's not so much fault to the headset. That's again what's happening in Battlefield. There's so much going on. You know, I'm playing Conquest or Domination or whatever it may be. So again, it's really hard to kind of pinpoint a lot that's going on, but I am getting that detail. Now, I don't play Valorant or Counter-Strike or even Rainbow Six anymore. That's way back in the days. But I really think, and take that with a grain of salt, because as I state, think, right? I don't know, right? But with my test with this, I really think it would shine in a game like that, Counter-Strike or Rainbow Six even, where you got that one person from over, you hear those footsteps, or coming from the room behind you, you know? You will hear that, because again, in Battlefield, I heard too much, I heard everything that was going on. I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm going crazy, because I'm like sitting here painting, like, where am I hearing this from, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just freaked out, thinking there's a haunting in the game or something, right? So, you did get that detail. You got an impactful sound, right? You got that immersion. It's not bass heavy by any means. It's definitely geared more towards the detail, but not screechy high. Okay, you know, I get screechy high. You're not getting heavy bass, but you are getting that detail and immersion. It's kind of right here. Again, what we're all used to, what we like with like the clouds, right? You get that natural, pure gaming sound that you want. Nothing's overdone. Same situation we got here, but what else wasn't overdone, at least in my opinion, was the volume. And I like my headsets or headphones or whatever. I want them to make my ears bleed if I want. I want to have to crank them down a few notches, you know what I mean? Put them at setting 80 or something. And that's honestly what the Cloud 2s sound like. Like they were on setting 80, especially when I went over to my PS5 Pro and you know, you go into the settings and adjust your volume because every headset kind of bumps it down 2 notches whenever you put a new one in there. And I did crank that up, then I cranked the headset up as well, and it still was very low for when I was playing The Last of Us, you know? Now once I get adapted to it and playing for a while, I'm like, okay, I guess this is passable, but with myself using like, again, the SteelSeries are actually 50, so any amp adapters is not a fair comparison. But anyways, the Flight 2s just sounded very low. That's even when I was going to PC. playing Battlefield. If I'm using some SteelSeries ones, and I went back to these, kind of just getting a vibe from one to the other. The Flight 2s, they just were lower than everything else. Now, is that just me? Like, do I like my headsets louder? Maybe, but again, I think that should be an option, right? It shouldn't be like I have to max this headset out all the time. That was, again, a bit of a stinker of it. So it had that good sound, like the potential, like if I could crank it up a few more decibels right there, just crank it up some, I feel like it would have really shined. But something's holding it back. You can go into Dolby Atmos like I use and turn off that volume limiter or leveler right down in the bottom, whatever, and then it does get a good bit louder. But if you're using it right out of the box and you're not dabbling Dolby Atmos, like, it's like, golly, like, come on, I need something more here, you know what I mean? So it's really, again, just kind of like the Comfort of Build is hit or miss in the sound department as well. So if you stuck through this video, I'm sure you can catch my final conclusion on this headset. I don't recommend it, but HyperX, if you're out there, listen to us. Listen to us here. Like seriously, take the RGB off, take the Bluetooth off since you can't use them both at the same time, and make this headset $70. You'll have a complete one in your hand. But right now, man, a little bit of a disappointment for me. I lost 8.
This is one of the most legendary jackets to ever come out of Japan, the Montbell Plasma 1000. This is the Canada Goose Wyndham Parka. It costs $1,400. Wow, that's so cheap. Function is beauty, or kinobu in Japanese, is the concept of finding beauty in expert craftsmanship. Allen Hardware, founded in 1993 on Halloween, they have mythical, scary, spooky jackets like the Ghost Whisperer. They also made my favorite down jacket of all time. The North Face and Patagonia, two of the biggest outdoor down jacket titans to ever grace this planet. How do they compare? And Uniqlo, the only jacket that I would not totally say is a good. Welcome to the internet's favorite down jackets. Right. If that's the title of this video still. I asked you, henceforth known as the internet, what your favorite down jacket brand was and why. And then I tallied up all the results and made a top 10 list of your recommendations. Then I whipped out my Chase Ink business card and bought every single jacket in the top 10 list, plus a few more. Guys, that was cool. I think we have technically 15. Anyways, I bought all of them so we can figure out definitively who makes the best bang for your buck. Is it Uniqlo or is it Canada Goose? Or is it somewhere in between? It's somewhere in between, I think, personally. What's up, guys? It's Michael. Hope everybody's doing well. I did the intro. This happens every time. I was cracking up. I was like, that was great and very fun intro. Memory card crash. Too cold. I think. I have no idea what I did. Shame. None of us get to see that funny intro. You just get that sucky one. This video will proceed as follows. We will go from the lowest cost down jacket to the absolute highest. Each brand or jacket will get a rundown, boiling each piece down to what you need to know about it and what is great about it. And finally, the most important part, we have a black screen, white line that says who each jacket is built for, because these are all almost great jackets, but you and the person designing the jacket need to match up and have the same goals, or else even if it's a really nice jacket, you won't like it. These first 3 down jackets actually probably the weirdest combination on this list because I'd really recommend 2 of them, and I would not recommend one of them, and that would be this one, Uniqlo Seamless Down Parka. And I shouldn't say I would recommend Uniqlo, but there's stuff that you need to know about it before you buy it that, for me, I'm not a huge fan of. But today, it is a very nice parka. That's the problem. So, come here, everybody. Build power. Think of build power as how efficient is the down. How much space will it take up in a certain size container? So if it's a really high build power, like 1,000, not a lot of down is going to take up a lot of space. So the jacket can be very light and efficient and fluffy. But if it's a lower build power, like 500, you need a lot more down to take up the same amount of space. So it makes the jacket very heavy. 1,000 build power down, also very expensive. 500, cheaper. Another really important thing is how is the down jacket constructed? The most basic form of construction, stitch-through construction. Talk about this on every single video. That is just stitching through the down. So you would see a stitch line right here. This is a seamless down jacket. So instead of stitching, we're using adhesives, or it depends on the brand, but we're seaming everything together without stitches. Hey, let's cut this bad boy open and see what the heck
next inside of it. I really hate the idea of cutting open a perfectly good garment. We're gonna go right for the heart. We have this downproof fabric. The down is inside of that, and we stitch it to this layer right here. So we have this white fabric with these little strips making the baffles. The outside of the fabric doesn't have any stitch lines because it's on this, and then it's heat bonded right there. And on this jacket, we use 750 fill power down. So on its face, and today, it's great. I really like those stats, and I like the look of this jacket. But if we go inside of the jacket, you'll see a really long, detailed, and thorough care label. If we go to the bottom, it says, hey, by the way, this entire jacket is coated in a resin that, whether you wear it or not, or store it properly or not, is going to start peeling, flaking, and falling off. That's just how the jacket's going to be. The second it's made, it will start to decay. Okay, so after all that, I don't want to say that I don't recommend it, but I would say the seams that hold all the down together could fail. It is 750 fill power down. It is a cool technology. It is stylish, and it's not super expensive. And the timeline of when it will fail is really determined on how you wear it, where you live, everything like that. So it may last you 3 years, it may last you 10 years. I don't know. Nobody knows. There's a whole bunch of different variables. I always like to say, if you're trying to spend as little as possible on a down jacket, you've got to go on eBay first because there's the craziest things on the planet. But if you don't want to do that, and you think 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, whatever, out of a down jacket is a good lifespan, oops, Edward, I found a spelling mistake on your website. You said this jacket is sailor-proof. I think you meant waterproof. $175 for this down jacket is kind of an insane deal. This is the superior down parka from Eddie Bauer. 650 fill power down, waterproof, seam sealed. Most people, you give them a jacket that's triple the price, probably wouldn't notice that much of a difference. This is just stitched through baffle construction. That was on the first down jacket that you could still wear today, 100 years later. Nothing new, nothing crazy, and they're very solid. I got my dad a first ascent Eddie Bauer down jacket probably 15 years ago. He still wears it basically every single day in the winter. Looks great. First ascent is Eddie Bauer's higher line. That stuff looks pretty good to me. I never heard of Decathlon in my life, and I was like, that's probably not gonna be that good. It's probably just gonna be a regular whatever jacket. Nope, that's one of the best jackets that I've ever seen for this price. $250 for, look at this. Hey you, do you pay rent? Good, let's make it worth your while. This video is sponsored by Built. Built gives you loyalty points if you pay your rent through them. You can use those points on airlines, on hotels, on fitness classes, and dining. You can also use those points on other stuff. By the way, just want to clarify that was totally acting. Look at this. 2 fingers, I can hold the entire box. Very easy for you to sign up for. Your landlord doesn't have to reach out. And look at that. You can live in this house. Or else. That is just about how much I've spent on rent since I moved out of college. Why not try and get a few points on it?